Hello everyone and welcome to the Ask Barry V Show. I'm Barry Vanover. This is Miles Baker. We're here to answer your questions. And let's start off, we started trying to do a little what's going on or what's new going on in the martial arts industry, things we've heard. And I guess something I thought was unusual was what's old is new again. Ricky Lamb is one of our clients in Leeds, England. And in England, their school was in July was still in session. They don't get out for summer till the end of July, and then they only get 6 weeks. And Mr. Lamb signed up like 32 new students in July. And I was asking, okay, where did those 32 new students come from? And he was telling me that they came from, about half of them came from mass intros. So like 16 people came from mass intros or so. And I was like, okay, next question. And my reasoning is, how did you get them to show up for mass intros? Those of you that follow our systems and we talk about mass intros, there's a lot of different ways to get people to show up for your mass intros, right? And by the way, mass intro is usually a weekend, Saturday, workshop, free community event. You make a special offer, today only offer, and sign up a large group of people. That's why it's called a mass intro instead of one-on-one intro. And he said he used our old system. That it's a great system, but it's just something I haven't even thought of in such a long time. And it was called To Be a Star, right? And To Be a Star is a letter that has To Be a Star on top, and it's a letter from the owner or the instructor to the individual school teacher, classroom teacher, Miss Johnson, on behalf of the martial arts student that they have in common. So what you do is you give this letter in a nice folder. We even made kids little business cards to put in it, future black belt and all that, and then gave the kid the other 11 cards with a VIP pass to hand out to friends in their class. And we would give 5 of those out a week to 5 different students, starting with your top motivated students and going down. And you get 5 or 6, 10 out a week. And you tell the student, you give them the packet, and say, hey, take this to your teacher and make sure she reads it, and she's going to give it back to you, and I want you to bring it back to me the next time you come to class. Sometimes we give a kid, if they bring it back, we give them a special surprise, like a free t-shirt or something like that, a free ticket for Parents Night Out. That's a great one because it's $20 to come to Parents Night Out, but it doesn't cost you anything if you to give a free one away. Some kind of incentive and reward for them to bring the letter back. And in the letter explains to the teacher, we have a student in common, and that's Sarah, and Sarah would like us to come and kind of like visit her class and do a show and tell with her and so forth. So what we're doing is we're getting the student to get us permission to come visit the class from the teacher without having to cold call the teacher, or of course we do intent to promotes, and on there we ask the teacher if she'd like us to come visit the class. But this is a unique and different way of creating those school talks from the individual teachers one at a time. And Mr. Lamb signed up like 16 people from that in 1 month. And I thought it was new and different because I haven't taught that system in years. I haven't even thought about it. And so guess what we're doing? We're going to be doing it for our schools the beginning of this school year, which your school system has already started. And
started the process.
Mine starts Monday, August the 8th, probably about the day you guys are watching this video. Now, speaking of mass intros, something new and different I thought was cool. You have, how many kids registered for your mass intro?
27.
27 kids that have registered. Now that's all Facebook, right?
Facebook, yeah.
Right? So we'll see what happens. I'm going to predict 12 kids show up and 6 kids sign up. Okay? The show up ratio is a little weird, a little low on seems like for Facebook. People will register, but they don't show. So I hope that's the case. But you also did something as you started funneling your adult students. We do recommend one-on-one intros for adult students, okay? But when you're short-staffed or you're a one-man show or you're like one of our S1X, you definitely want to do you have to start doing group intros for kids and group intros for adults. And you have how many adults scheduled?
10.
10 adults scheduled to come in for an adult, basically a mass intro, and those adults know there's going to be more than one of them there?
Yes, so it's just a group intro class. So
you're going to go in there and rock that out and make them a special offer?
So we've got potentially 37 people on books for tomorrow.
Right.
And so, my goal is to come out with 10 to 15 new students on 6 to 12 month contracts.
37 people registered between kids and adults, both mass intros, and your goal is 10, 15
yeah.
new students on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, for the adults, are you going to just offer the basic program with the two options of either finance or pay in full, or are you going to do like the VIP offer where you're waiving the down payment if they sign up today?
I'm actually going to do our normal close because these are people that were all website leads.
So they had a higher level of interest.
Exactly. Whereas the kids is going to get the mass intro special, waive the down payment, 12 to 6 months, because their families just saw something on Facebook and registered for a free event versus the other people are again, a higher quality lead for sure.
Awesome. And the adults, so you're going to not mention black belt training and cross comparative black belt training. You're going to make the two options, down payment and financing or paid in full.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. So
Very cool.
We'll see and we'll report those results and see how it goes. But I expect
That's
results
cool.
next week. So.
That's some new ongoing, what's going
it's a
on
little
and
bit
different.
Yeah.
What's new and different is Facebook is killing it on marketing right now. And we talked about this several weeks in a row on the show. I don't have to keep beating a dead horse, but what I am concerned with is, I probably talked to 4 or 5 school owners today. We're filming this on a Friday. What is today? The 4th, 5th of August? Mm-hmm. And just how they're not advertising on Facebook. They have no idea how to advertise, and they're just missing out.
Yeah.
And we've been preaching this for a while now.
Well, and it's just no different than any other system. If you just miss one little part,
sometimes it's true.
Sometimes it's
some
that
small detail.
Yeah, and I think that seems to be the case for a lot of social media marketing.
All right, cool.
But
all right, let's get started with our questions
this week. Yeah. So this week our first question came from Nick B. Asked, "What do you see as some of the biggest mistakes owners make?" So that's a big question, but that's a good question, and that's a common question. Biggest mistakes you see owners make?
I would say lack of systems. I know that's kind of vague, but having lack of systems, no real way to answer the phone, no real way of keeping up with statistics, no real way of signing up students, no enrollment procedures that can be duplicated and taught to somebody else, no real class management systems where things are followed like a plan and a path, no real staff training meetings or staff training systems, just basically no real systems. That's a huge one. Another huge one is the unwillingness of owners to implement a real introductory program and enrollment conference. Again, I talked to 4 or 5 owners today, and I don't think not any one of them was doing a real 2-lesson trial program and enrollment conference. Right. And none of them were charging down payments on their current memberships if the person did not pay in full. One person was kind of charging a down payment, but he called it a registration fee, and he doesn't understand it. And that's costing these guys a lot of money.
That is. How many students did Ricky Lamb sign up?
32, I think it was. Yeah.
Imagine 32 waived down payments versus 32 down payments. That's a big difference on your bottom line at the end of the month.
That's $7,000 difference, just in down payments alone. And of course, if they're not doing down payments, they're probably not doing. They're not selling equipment packages. They're not getting paid in full memberships. They're not doing any of that stuff. So just their willingness, all they want to do seems like, what's the coincidence? I talked to 4 or 5 owners and none of them are doing an enrollment conference for real. Letting a kid try a class and then trying to talk to the parent after class is not the way to go. And one owner is letting kids come in for a free class, then giving them an entire month of martial arts lessons just for free. Yeah. Right? If they buy a $40 uniform.
It's just lack of knowledge, right?
And then they're trying to sign them up. It's just insane.
That's a hard way to do business. It's costly. And
that's a big mistake.
Add to mistakes is that owners just tend to operate within their comfort zone. So it's they may be great teachers, so it's a lot easier to let a student just come try a class out and try to sign them up instead of learn a structured way to convey the benefits of martial arts, right?
A lot of them are comfortable. Yeah. They're making more money than if they worked as a mechanic or, I don't know, as they work something else, or a little less even. But they're comfortable enough they don't want to do a massive changes and work too hard, I guess.
I think that's sometimes the Facebook marketing. Most martial artists getting onto Facebook and learning how to use the ad manager and go through all the details and nuances.
It's a pain.
That's not
I
exciting.
heard you on the phone today, step by step, on the phone for an hour, showing them and teaching them how to run a Facebook ad.
It's just not exciting, so they don't force themselves. They stay in their comfort zone and train, and they don't work on their business. So that's a big mistake we see often.
Yeah, and I guess another mistake is sometimes thinking that just because an owner or an instructor is a martial artist, because they know how to throw kicks and punches, and that seems exciting, that their classes are exciting. But, it's like anything. After 3 or 4 weeks, those kids are used to wearing a gi. They're used to seeing you punch and kick. And now you got to have real systems, real class management systems to keep them highly entertained and educated. Mm-hmm. And the lack of understanding that your classroom floor probably, it looks like it might suck, is hard for owners too. So there's just some common mistakes that I think owners might be making out there, with the knowledge of how many owners that me and you have to, we talk to throughout the month and week.
All right, our next question for this week came from Jeremy J. He says, I know you guys run premier martial arts schools and have seen a lot of them on Facebook, and they look great. What are some tips on how to make an independent school look better? Great question. I love
Switch to premier martial arts.
There's one.
Because we have a great logo, great artwork, great commercials, great merchandising, great everything. It's done for you. It doesn't cost that much, and just use what we've done, and you focus on growing your school. You let us take care of all that stuff, and you just concentrate and focus on implementing a system, right?
It does make life so much easier.
It does make life so much easier.
This isn't about pitching Premier, but of course we have clients that are non-Premier, and I just see them have to go through the extra steps to do things, and I'm just thinking to myself,
the time they're spending going through all that extra stuff,
they could be doing something else to grow their school.
And a lot of them, they love their logo, and it's not even a logo. It's at best a terrible T-shirt design. It's not even a logo that they've got, that they're so attached to it, or the name. And if because Jesus always calls me, and if he called and said, Barry, listen, the next new thing in the martial arts is to use this name and teach this curriculum. That's where it's going. That's where you're going to make all the money. I'd be like changing everything. If you knew that for sure, I'd change everything tomorrow. I'm not even attached to Premier Martial Arts, one of the, if not the largest martial arts organization in the world. I'm not attached to, I do it because it makes money and it's systemized and it works. Now, however, let's answer this young man's question. I was kind of joking and went off on a tangent. Things you could do to make your school look good is, one, make sure it's clean, man. You know what? You don't have to live in the best house for it to be a clean house. You don't have to live and have the best martial arts school for it to be a clean martial arts school. You don't have to have the top of the line mats for those whatever mats you're using to be spotless, right? So one, make it clean, make it clean and smell clean. And then artwork. Yeah. The artwork that we choose to put around the school is all thought out and designed. We're not putting our trophies up from years ago, and I went to a school one time to do a school evaluation, and I swear to God, it looked like the 8-year-old karate fairy threw up in this dude's martial arts school. There were clocks on the wall that was a yin-yang on this side. Somebody had put a puzzle together of something with all these pieces and framed it on cardboard over here, and it looked just like some 10-year-old's kid's basement or something. And I was like, scrap all of this, man. Paint doesn't cost that much for a nice coat of paint. No. But going back to artwork, is images that are powerful and tell a story. Doesn't even have to have a saying on it. Now, saying and quotes are cool, but just nice images that tell a story. If you go to large fitness chains like LA Fitness or Anytime Fitness, you're going to see images, and the images themselves are empowering and tell a story, right? And are going to connect with people. So just having some nice, and artwork doesn't cost anything. At martialartsmarketing.com, they'll design the artwork and the pictures and send it to you, and on this thing called elephant bark. Is that what it's called?
No, it was called, it's escaping me now.
Foam core?
Foam core, yeah. I think it's foam board, foam core.
There's foam core, and then there's one a little heavier.
Yeah.
And we literally Velcro it up on the wall.
They look really good.
And it looks amazing, right? So things like that, artwork. What else was you? You're pretty good. Your school looks sharp. What else was you?
Yeah, like you said, clean, but it's just kind of facility management. So throughout the day, less is more. So you mentioned the trophies. Got to get rid of the clutter.
Trophies and books.
Even pads. we like to have every different kind of pad and different angles and different sizes and stuff like that. That's fine, but you got to keep that stuff out of sight.
Unless
Pull
you're
the
using
pads
it.
out you're using and put them back.
Yeah.
Everything should have a place, just like you're going to train your students to put their gear bag somewhere and put everything up, just like we would train our kids, put things back. You got to operate your school the same way. It's a good analogy that we always talk to our staff about is like a real estate agent. They stage a house before they show it. Well, your school needs to be staged not only every day, but after every class.
Yeah, that's a good
the
point.
last class of the night deserves just a pleasing looking, well organized school
As the first class.
class, right?
That's exactly right.
It's a constant attention to detail that, okay, I just taught class and the wave masters are a little messed up and logos, I got to straighten everything real fast before I go to the next class or utilize the assistants or whatever. So I think a big thing is less is more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Less is more.
That less is more. Getting rid of the clutter, clean smelling, good looking school, clean smelling school, artwork, and even having a big, you can nowadays, you can buy big flat screen TVs.
Yeah.
And mount in your school and have like we use iTunes, ITV, and have it flip through a slideshow so that the TV is a piece of art itself, and it flips through different artwork, images, and pictures and announcements. Something like that can take a school that maybe doesn't look so great and all of a sudden add excitement to it.
Equipment package posters.
Equipment package posters behind your pro shop instead of having the actual equipment hanging on the walls and all that.
Sun faded.
With Premiere, back when we first started, I think we're 12 years old now, we wanted the Starbucks look and the Starbucks cleanliness and that kind of image. I just didn't want to be the red, white, and blue karate school type thing. I wanted something totally different. Now you see a lot of schools stepping it up and giving it that Starbucks or giving that professional look and the earth tones and all that. And a lot of people just gone completely away from this whole red, white, and blue America karate type schools, So those are some ideas. I hope that helps.
Yeah. All right, our next question for this week comes from Lee M. Ask, I just hired one of my adult students to work for me. Should I cancel his martial arts membership? So a student became a staff member. Do you cancel their membership?
Yeah. Student became a staff member.
Yep.
Should you cancel his martial arts membership? All right, so I say that's a tough one. And I'll tell you why it's tough. Is because initially I say no. Try to keep a relationship separate. A student-teacher relationship and employee relationship. If that guy went out and got a job at Best Buy, well, Best Buy you're not going to cancel his membership because he got a job at Best Buy. So why cancel his martial arts membership because he got a job at your school teaching? Okay? So in that instance, that way if it doesn't work out, then you didn't lose a member. His job didn't work out, but he still got a martial arts membership. You didn't affect that. Plus, they always reminded that they're a student under you in your school. Now, here's the kicker. When you hire an employee from outside to come into your school and you don't have them sign a martial arts membership, now you got a little bit of conflict. One guy's paying, one guy's not. So what I would tell the guy coming in is, listen, everybody at our school or our organization has to be a martial arts student and train in martial arts in order to work here. So you're going to have to sign a membership. It's going to be whatever it is, your normal fee. But raise whatever you agreed with him on his salary, raise it up $150 a month or $125 a month or whatever your tuition is to cover it. But he's on a membership just like everybody else. Yeah. That's kind of the way I think it should be.
I totally agree, and I think it keeps the lines from getting blurred. I've seen where basically when you cancel the membership and then they're also training, always somebody feels like they're getting the short end of the stick.
Right.
So if it's very just, hey, you work this amount of hours and that's how much you get paid an hour, here's your paycheck and you paid your tuition. Yeah. It's just very simple and clean.
I'm going to get comments for that one because there's going to be owners like, why would you have your staff member? And that's true. Yeah, at the end of the day, though I want to take this question serious and I gave that answer from, the best advice and from my heart that I could give. At the end of the day, having a good employee is far more important than whether he's paying for martial arts lessons or not. So use your gut feeling on that. But especially if you're running a big school with lots of staff members, every time you hire somebody part-time, you wouldn't want to cancel their membership until you know. Now, maybe if they go full-time, that's a totally different story. That's a totally different thing.
All right, last question for this week. Sean J. asks, he says, what is your recommendation for promotions for back to school on Facebook? So it is that time of year.
Right.
Back to school for many of us.
Yeah, it's back to school we should have talked about that and what's going on. Back to school is all upon us. We're running two things on Facebook for back to school. We're running a back to school special, which is just our introductory course, and we just call it a back to school special. It's 2 private one-on-one lessons with a free uniform valued at $69 while supplies last for $27.99. And we're marketing it on Facebook to moms that have kids from 3 years old to 12 years old. And you can do that demographic now.
Yep.
You know, you couldn't do that a few weeks ago. It was moms of preschool kids or high school kids or elementary school kids. Now they broke it down by the age range. It's actually parents. So you could pop dad in there and do men and women if you wanted dad to see it. So that's one thing we're advertising. And the next thing is we're using Facebook, like we spoke earlier, to market our Karate for Concentration workshops on the weekends for our mass intros. Okay, like Mr. Baker said, he has how many kids?
27.
27 so far registered for his event tomorrow. He'll get a few more tonight. And we're doing that every week. We do 3 weeks before school starts and 3 weeks or so after school starts. Okay, you can still do Karate for Concentration workshops, but the back to school concept and feeling is over 2 or 3 weeks after school starts. It's like 2 days after Christmas. The thought of Christmas is done and gone for another year. You know, it doesn't keep lasting and lingering on, you know. So that's it.
That's pretty much it.
Couple real quick things I want to say is, one, I want to thank everybody. We've been getting some amazing comments about the show. Keep emailing me at CEO@BarryVanover your questions, or hashtag at AskBarryV show. And people that we're talking to and emails, you know, we went out to Las Vegas and so many people said, I love that show you do. Thank you so much for doing it. You know, and we just thank you guys for listening and watching and keeping engaged and asking questions and sending your comments. Don't forget, we have a networking group on Facebook called Martial Arts Professionals Network. Feel free to go on there and join. You know, it's an open group, and communicate with us and network and bring up questions and have some good dialogue, man. Networking is so important. I used to go to, if I heard anybody was doing anything amazing in the martial arts industry, I was there to investigate it. Build a relationship, network, see it for myself. So, you know, now we can network right on our computer. So that's a very important thing that you guys should be using. And don't forget, we have our martial arts management group fall symposium October 6th through the 8th. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, October 6th through 8th. We've got an instructor performance college going on about the classroom floor. We've got a program director's training going on all about those 2 lesson trial programs and enrollment procedures. Both of those happen simultaneously the first day and a half, Thursday, and half a day Friday. We've got martial arts training happening the whole time. Krav Maga training, BJJ training, MMA training, kickboxing. And the last day and a half we run in business seminars, 2 o'clock on Friday till 5, and then all day Saturday. We've got some cool guest speakers. We've got some great topics all about digital and email and social media marketing and some really cool things. And that's open to the public. And you can actually see that website and go ahead and register at, the website is
MAMG.SYM.
dot?
Yeah.
MAMG.SYM or MAMGSYM.com.
I'm pretty sure it's .SYM.
Whatever you're reading under the screen right now as I'm talking is the correct web address for you to go ahead and register your team for any of those events, and they're all different price in case you just want to do one of them, okay? All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. That's a wrap.
That's it.
All right, thanks.